Hello and welcome. I'm your host Elizibar. We got House of Slaughter issue 11, which is about what was his name? Jace Boucher from the House of Butchers, not the House of Slaughter. Although he did hang out in House of Slaughter, which is what the first five or so issues of this series was about. And frankly, it was pretty much I don't even remember a whole lot about it. Now I think he ended up hanging out at the House of Slaughter because the House of Butcher was gone or something. I don't even remember, but we started out actually kind of interesting with a monster. Like I opened this up, there's a kid being stalked. You flip it over, and you get this monster, and it looks pretty scary, pretty cool. Lots of red blood. It's got how many eyes? Like looks like a pretty cool little monster, right? Well, turns out that this is just a kid telling the story of how Jace saved him from a monster. Like that's the whole gist here, and it's actually kind of a cool little sequence. And it gave me hope. It gave me a whole lot of hope. I was all like, oh man, this is pretty cool. We're also doing that, like we go across two pages for no reason kind of layouts. For some reason. I don't know why they're artistic choices to do that, but hey, whatever. Not my book. I hope there's plenty of light. I'm trying to like use the sunlight that's out there, but it's overcast and it's winter, so light's weird. But I thought the natural light would go well here because this book is just full of unnatural stuff. I want to zip forward a little bit. Yeah, probably here. Probably here's where I want to go. Right to the staples. We don't have to go past the staples. So the gist is, after Aaron doesn't kill him on the orders of the House of Slaughter, and of course Aaron is now dead. You might remember that from. Oh, you don't even know who Aaron is, do you? Okay, let's step back. Something is killing the children. In that series, the main character, she had a character who was kind of her handler, and as we learned over the course of other issues of these two series, also kind of a big brother figure for her. His name was Aaron. Aaron and this dude totally had a tryst. And that was what the first four issues of this series was just like them getting frisky with each other. And pretty much nothing of import happened that you couldn't have just cut out of the four issues, combined it into the fifth issue by adding like 4 pages, and called it a great issue. Because the fifth issue of this series was a whole lot more interesting than the first several, but I digress, I digress. And then Aaron, who's actually over here, came to kill him, except he didn't, and then they left. And that's House of Slaughter, issues 1 through 5. Right now, our homeboy, Jace, is basically dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, survivor complex, like all that kind of stuff. He saved a bunch of kids. They're living in the woods. He's taking care of them. And he's being haunted by his dreams. He wakes up earlier. One of the kids wakes him up, and he kind of freaks out. And he's about to like shank the kid with his little hand knife, his little hand dagger right there, little thrusting dagger. It's like we're in Rambo, you know. Well, here he's having one of these bad dreams. This is actually like there's some pretty good stuff in here. I didn't really like this issue, but there's still some like pretty good, pretty intense stuff. So he's like dreaming, and same kid comes in, wakes him up again, and he's caught up in the dream. He's caught up in the moment. So he's not, wide awake Jace Boucher. He is like, I'm pretty much dead, Jace Butcher, and he's about to like murder the kid. The rest of the issue kind of deals with the consequences of this one act. The rest of this issue also kind of deepens like the overall, like sets up what's going to happen. There are consequences with the House of Butcher and all that kind of stuff that may or may not like pay off down the road. They introduce a character earlier in one of these dreams. Actually, it's in this dream sequence. It's either on the previous 2 pages back or maybe it's 3 pages back. And that character shows up later on in the real world in the book. So they're about to have some kind of conflict between the last of the old butchers and the new butchers, I guess. I guess that's what's going on is the House of Slaughter founded the new House of Butcher to replace the old House of Butcher after they killed them all or whatever. Let's be honest, they probably just killed them all because that's what everybody in this world does. So, how would I rate this? It's okay. The PTSD thing might be kind of interesting to see depending on how it goes. Living with guilt, living with being like the last survivor of two different groups. Like, that's got to be pretty rough, right? There might be some interesting stuff going there. But based on what the first 5 issues were all about, how boring I found them, and all that, I'm not sure that I'm really excited about returning to this character. I like that dude that was in the second story arc. That we were like getting like deep psychological stuff in there about his childhood trauma and all that, and that was just like overwhelmingly like we're going down the rabbit hole. But we'll see where the series goes. Might turn out to be pretty good. Maybe not. One thing I am happy about is that this isn't House of Slaughter: The Butcher's Return #1. It's just House of Slaughter 11. Like, we didn't break each of these up into their own miniseries, and I appreciate that. If you have confidence in your product, make number go higher. Go vroom, All right, you all take care of yourselves. I got a squeaky chair, and bye-bye.